How do you see the AI aspect playing out in India? And conversely, what does this mean for India?
I think we need to establish it has to be human-led. Like human in the loop, human outside the loop, human on the loop. Forget all that. It has to be led by human beings. The differentiator will really not be the technology or the tools. Many of us will have it. The differentiator will be your industry knowledge that your people bring to the table. And that's what the client is looking for.
There are a lot of questions about where India will play in this, particularly Indian IT services companies. How are you seeing that whole equation?
We need to invest in the technology. We need to make sure we are ready with it. From experimentation or invention, let's call it invention, to value creation is the upside.
Hi and welcome. I'm joined by Ajay Vij, Senior Country Managing Director at Accenture India, and we're going to talk about, AI. Ajay, thank you so much for joining me.
So good to see you.
You're likewise, and you're fresh out from the AI Summit, that's the India AI Impact Summit.
That's right.
And that was very hectic. There were a lot of very interesting discussions, including around policy to do with AI. There were people from all over the world. What was your sort of distilled takeaways?
I think the biggest factor was what you just said, people from all over the world. Lots of nations came in, the public sector, the private sector, the academia coming together with complete government foundation over there, right? I think that was the highlight. Just the whole inclusion and everybody together committing to what AI means was the highlight. The second thing I would say is at the expo, that experimentation moving to execution. You saw it live over there, whether it was in the education hall or it was in the real, let's say, retail or with life sciences. Anywhere you went, you saw real examples, right? That gave people a high. And at the same time, I would say it also gave people that the fence sitters to say, hey, I better move fast, right? And so most of the conversation actually went to say, what do I need to do now? And I think that was the main the government aspiration that, hey, we all need to do it together.
And maybe at the convention, were there any wow moments for you?
Many of them. So one, of course, the sheer persona of the leadership that was there, right? There was everybody there. Certainly a wow moment. Two, the display, I would again say, of some of the technologies, the way they are taking on, and the passion of the young entrepreneurs, the startups. Wow moment. It just puts everything in perspective as to say, let me phrase that answer differently. There is a positive buzz about AI in India or technology in India. I personally believe it comes from the factor that whole India stack, the UPI, the usage of technology at every level, across rural area, urban area, on the streets, in high-end tech firms, is causing that buzz. It may not be there so in the rest of the world. And this further, just laid on to that foundation that India is in the right place. India is ready to lead on that. So that really came out very, very clearly in the expo.
Right. And how do you see the AI aspect playing out in India? And conversely, what does this mean for India? I think what you described is the technology foundation that exists at a scale which is larger than most other countries, if not most other countries. What's the next step?
Let's all clearly establish that AI is the future of technology, right? I think every CEO gets it. I think the country gets it. Every youth or everybody gets it. Rural or urban doesn't really matter. The change pivot we want to do or need to do is that it's not just going to improve productivity. It's going to add value to businesses. It is a growth driver, right? Moment you establish that, the narrative changes, right? The narrative changes because just one company or one government department cannot do it. It needs to be done by all of us together. So that comes into thing. The third and the most important aspect I think we need to establish is that it has to be human-led. Like human in the loop, human outside the loop, human on the loop. Forget all that. It has to be led by human beings, right? And that's what I think business leaders need to make sure that it happens. Or even those who are evolving this technology need to make sure that human stays in the lead over here.
And it may seem logical at one point, but you're also emphasizing that. Why is that?
No, emphasizing because so this is evolution of anything, right? As Mo Goddard says, technology or intelligence is non-polar. If you heard him yesterday, right? You can use it or you can set it up in a way that it's not positive, or you can set it up to say that it works for everybody's gain. It is for the positive. And that's what I mean when I say it needs to be human-led. We need to consciously make sure that it's responsible, it is brave, and yet, it's with the right guardrails that go over there. That's the human-led part of it.
And when you talk to clients, and you mentioned enterprises, what are they asking for or telling you, and what are you doing for them right now?
So several phases, and I'm generalizing. Every client can be at a different stage. Every CEO gets it that this is the future, no doubt about it. We are also seeing trending of more spend on technology. I think we're slowly moving from the experimenting, as I said, to now starting to embed it in the process. So they all get it. What the client is looking for is expertise, right? When we talk to a client, I think we need to show that we are ready for it, and that, of course, it sits on the big demographic foundation of talent, right? So how much we can invest in the talent, how skilled they are, how current they are with the technology. And again, using the story from yesterday, it's no longer about playing chess. So you're not estimating 5 years from now what's going to happen, so I'd be ready. It's like playing squash, right? The ball goes on the right, you go pick it up, and then you come back to the center to be able to, then pick up on it and say, okay, now what's the next coming? I think the client is looking for that agility. The client is, of course, looking for our investments in it, right? How intensive or extensive is our library around various tools that are getting created here? How exposed are our people? And I think what industry knowledge do we bring to the table? That's more important, right? The differentiator will really not be the technology or the tools. Many of us will have it. The differentiator will be your industry knowledge that your people bring to the table. And that's what the client is looking for.
And give us an illustration of that. And like, for example, a sector that you are working on maybe, or you're leading, and where you see that really coming into force.
So everywhere. So at a very simplistic day-to-day level, let's say in retail campaigns, right? Using data to be able to draw out analytics and doing a focused campaign. And we've really seen results that are in high double digits, not small, of increased sales in that case. Just this morning, the team was leading me through where we are using AI for a client in truly manufacturing a proprietary sauce, and how in the process the machine was stopping X number of times in a day, because you're dealing with liquids, things, ingredients go here and there, and a 70% impact on lesser stoppages there. Great, right? The other one very recently at the AI summit, I was on the jury for AI by her. A great example of a handheld device doing initial data collection for loan disbursement, right? You go there, what used to take weeks gets done in hours. The guy comes back, plugs in, and boom, 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 the loans move faster. It reaches the right place. Drones, sorry, go ahead. I can go on and on.
No, so in this case, AI is accelerating the synthesis of data as opposed to earlier.
It is making it faster. It is making it more accurate. Less chance of any kind of distorted data. And the background or the basics here are, of course, access and inclusion. AI is giving you both of those, or technology is giving both of those. Your ability to take a handheld device and go and collect that data anywhere and come back and upload it, or the infrastructure that is present over there, and then taking it to the last mile. That's most important.
And you were saying drones.
No, drones. I was very fascinated that physical drones doing audits of high risk refineries, right? Where it's not safe for human beings to go in, or it needs regular 24/7 monitoring. They were truly, truly fascinating.
Right. So there are a lot of questions about where India will play in this, particularly Indian IT services companies. How are you seeing that whole equation?
So I mean, that's the elephant in the room, and good to address. So everybody will, or no, not, I won't say everybody. The headlines are less and less and less.
The supplementary question is, how do you stay optimistic in this? Or rather, what are the optimistic aspects in this?
So we believe it's more. It's going to lead to the growth that we really want, with all the guardrails that I, of course, mentioned. History tells us we've done that in the past, and it will happen again. So that's my first phase of evolution. 2, I think every business gets it that AI is going to lead to growth. Now, if that has to happen, companies like us, or IT services companies, as you say, large companies, small, everybody, need to be the bridge for that value generation, right? We are the ones who understand the technology. We are the ones who bring the expertise of the client's domain. Connecting the two is where the positive, that's where our clients need us. That's where we are close to our clients. Yes, coming back, we need to invest in our people. We need to invest in the technology. We need to make sure we are ready with it. I see that bridge from experimentation or invention, let's call it invention, to value creation is the upside.
So you're saying in some ways that a larger market has opened up because of AI, which
Absolutely.
perhaps did not exist earlier. And of course, it's also incumbent upon Indian or other IT services companies to, sort of.
So we have to
that
drop the
level
value
to-
chain. Absolutely. I agree. We need to evolve to it. We need to make sure we deliver to it. But you're very right.
And there are many skills that come into play in doing this. And I'm going to come to the leadership point as well, because that's why I'm going to lead it. Tell us about a couple of the skills that you look for, whether it's senior management or otherwise.
So one is, and your leadership question is kind of combined with that, learn the technology, right? Your agility in learning the new is most important, whether you're a fresh college graduate or you're a very senior leader, maybe at this phase of retirement, you still need to constantly learn because the world is moving that fast. So that's one. Two, I think we need to build trust. Trust in the technology, trust with our people. Right? They need to believe that, yes, this is leading to growth and not get persuaded by the less that you hear, right? That will keep happening. Always two sides to a coin, depends how you want to look at it. The third, I would say, is that the leaders need to believe in transformation and understand transformation, right? It's not about automating one part of the process. This is about looking at the process holistically. And that's where AI will play a role, right? It's not about we just pick up one piece and we put it in. Yes, it will impact a little bit, but that will be a short-term impact. If you're a long-term player, as a leader, understand what's transformation, what is going to bring value, and then, of course, build that with your team.
Right. So, Ajay, you've seen several cycles and transformations as well. What do you normally do when you encounter something like this? I mean, what's your personal sort of first reaction, whether it's within or otherwise?
No, so one, you understand the market, right? Your strategy, I had learned in very early in Accenture that strategy is nothing but your journey from the point A to point B, right? Once you establish point A, you decide the journey, and then there are milestones. So that's exactly what we need to do. On top of it, you need to be very flexible and fluid, right? As I said, it's a game of squash. No longer about chess that, I've got my strategy of the next 10 moves. It's not going to help because the ball's going to come back to the center or left or right. So we go and get it. So as a leader, I think that's what we need to do, is be very agile about it. And last, and I think said it at least in 3 forums over here, learn to learn is our biggest asset. Right? Yes, we have the talent. Yes, we can skill them, but their agility to relearn is going to be most important.
Right. Ajay, that's a good note to end on. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. Thanks so much.